Become more likable and having people enjoy your company. It's pretty straightforward, at least in theory, and it really comes down to people spending more time with you, feeling comfortable and secure in your presence. And there are way more details to this, but before we get into those, a couple of points I want to make, and those are sexual and romantic attraction. That's a different thing, and just because someone enjoys you as a person doesn't mean that they want to date you or they want to hop in bed with you. Different thing. All right, my name is Nikki, and I'm a certified fitness coach. And I would like to believe that I know a couple of things about human behavior simply because it's the nature of the job. People still have to tolerate my presence and my voice in order to apply the advice that I'm giving them. And over the years, I've realized that when it comes to interacting with people, there are two things that really affect our decision making and who we enjoy time spending with. And this is true, by the way, for most species, not just humans. We tend to gravitate towards things that are safe. It would tend to avoid things that are risky and dangerous. It makes sense. And to generalize here, things that are usually safe, or at least what feels safe, is the known. People in situations that we're familiar with are associated with safety. Even if the situation itself is not safe, but if it's known, we at least know how to navigate and deal with that specific situation. So we have options. While the unknown, we don't really know what to expect. Anything could happen. So it doesn't feel safe. What I'm trying to say here is that the people that you normally enjoy spending time are people who feel familiar, safe, and secure. And people who don't usually we avoid are just complete strangers or people who are from a completely different demographic, culture, background, even different sex, different beliefs, religion. The less we can connect and identify with that specific group, the more skeptical we are. And at least initially, at least until we get to know them, again, the known, we're probably going to be a little bit more avoidant and distant, and we may not enjoy their company as much. So you're probably asking yourself, like, Nikki, how do I make myself feel more self and secure? Well, these people perceive me this way, so they enjoy me more, enjoy my company more. Very simple. Spend more time with them. Time is a multiplier. The more time you spend with someone, the more they get to know you, the more common interests you uncover, and the more you bond, the more you connect, the safer you feel, the more familiar you feel. Very simple. Time multiplier. And now I guess it's time to address the elephants, multiple, in the room. Yes, basic human, you have to have an idea of basic human interactions and how to talk to fellow human beings. If you're super weird, super awkward, you just stand there like you're doing some weird stuff, yeah, people are just not going to enjoy your company. I mean, they're not going to be able to connect and bond with you. They're not going to be able to feel secure around you, which makes sense. If you're acting weird, they don't know what to expect. Unknown, danger. Whereas if you know how to talk to people, you connect faster, you become known who you are, what you do, and so on, much faster. Hence, first thing, just know how to talk to people and how to act around people. Second thing, unfortunately, there's a lot of social stigma, and certain people are just never gonna like you just because you belong to a certain type of background, identity, country, and things like racism and homophobia. Those are real. So unfortunately, no matter how much time you spend with someone, they may never enjoy your company, which is, I mean, it happens. However, if you're someone that they don't know anything about it and you belong to a certain group that they don't really identify with or have there's some stigma there, being no one, it's worse than becoming someone, becoming John, Steve, and so on, becoming someone that at least they spend some time with, they know a little bit better, so they're probably going to dislike you slightly less. So, a couple of things to keep in mind here. And when it comes to social, not social, but sort of chemical, basic chemistry, and sexual attraction, those are other things to consider as well. As I said at the beginning, just because someone enjoys your company doesn't mean that they want to date you and so on. So some certain people have certain preferences in terms of height, looks, race, and so on, and that is totally normal. It is the nature of life. And I will leave you off with one bit of, I wouldn't call it wisdom, but something to keep in mind that normally, under most circumstances, spending time with someone means generates more familiarity and generally makes you more likable. However, it could work the exact opposite way. Sometimes you meet someone that initially you feel like there's a lot in common, but the more you talk to them, the more you get to know them, the more you realize that you disagree on a lot of different topics and you have a completely different view of the world. So technically what happens is the more time you spend, you grow further apart. And instead of generating more comfort, you realize like, do I really want to spend time with this? Like this is so different. Like, nah. So yeah, time is not always the solution. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing because when you're talking about dating and friendships, you want to uncover people that that you cannot connect with much faster. Hence, just initially spend a lot of time with them so you can see whether you guys belong together or whether you should go your separate ways. The only the only place where may work, may not work is on the workplace. So let's say professional interactions. So in certain situations, you actually want to think, okay, so do I really, I may not want to be interested in being friends with a certain person. However, I still want to be on friendly terms with them. So you may want to consciously avoid getting into specific discussions and trying to look for that disconnect and unfamiliarity and focus your interactions and the time spent focusing on things where there's a lot of overlap between you and the other person. This way, at least you can be professional. Because if there's too much disconnect, then it's going to be really hard for you to do business with that specific person. So I'm not talking about manipulation or anything like this, but you still want to be on friendly terms with people when, even though you don't want to be friends with them or date them or something like this, just from a professional perspective. All right, that's it all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, the Emperor protects. Until next time.